this?
Tillman's Das Helle. We're live. What? There's no countdown.
It doesn't do this 3, 2, 1, whatever anymore.
Just like still having our chats.
Yeah, we were still chatting, talking, and now we're talking to you. And thank you very much for tuning in. And now it's not just Facebook. It's Facebook. It's LinkedIn. It's Twitter. It's Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. I don't know. So from wherever you're listening, awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We are Izzi Smith.
Me. And Marcus Tandler.
That's me. And we would like to temporarily redirect you from work to
the weekend. Woo,
that's us. Yeah, we got a great show for you today because it was quite an exciting news week again. So we have a lot of news to go through. Yeah, it was a very, very, very good news week. So I'm really looking forward to the show because there's some exciting topics to discuss, and you can discuss with us. And now not just on Facebook, but also on YouTube and LinkedIn. Just comment. Just comment away, and we can. It's all compiled here because we are now also on StreamYard. We're not doing Be Live anymore.
It's really fancy.
Be Live. No, StreamYard is so much better. Really, this is so much better. And thanks to the fantastic Bianca, she set it up so perfectly that I just had to log in with her account. Just had to press live, so I love it. Yeah, and it's also very nice that it actually streams to all the different platforms, which obviously before we've just done Facebook. And so we're really excited about this because a lot of people were telling us, hey, we don't use Facebook. Obviously, no.
Yeah, we don't want to log in.
That's it. Yeah.
I really don't like Facebook, to be honest. Is it a German thing? Like, I do like the cool private groups that we have. For example, like the G50 one. It's amazing, but aside from that, I don't really check in on much. So I'm also happy that we're now broadcasting to YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter. So, yay!
Absolutely, and it's so funny that you said Facebook is a German thing. No, we had StudiVZ, StudiVZ, and that was so funny. Do you know this? They actually copied it, like blatantly copied Facebook back in the days, and they even had the same CSS class. So they were using the same CSS class. They didn't even rename the CSS class from Facebook.
Oh no!
As I mean, this is like 18 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't know how many million years ago it was. But so we had StudiVZ. Obviously, that's not a thing anymore. I don't think it even is live anymore. StudiVZ, is it? Can you still go? Bist du schon drin? Are you still there? Oh, this is how. This is just horrible. If you want to go to studivz.net. The new VZ you find on vz.net. Social media without commas. Okay, that sounds awesome. Okay, bye. I'm gone.
Without commas, that would be a grammatical nightmare. A social media platform without commas. Comma, you know, comma? Comma.
Oh God! Because it was just translating commerce in commercial.
Commerce.
You were making a German joke out of it, so I was like totally thrown off.
No. I was making an English joke.
Oh yeah, I know. I look smarter than I actually am. A lot of people. It happens to a lot of people.
We both do.
Yeah. Normally, I'm like, oh yeah, that's very interesting. I thought about this too, but yeah, no, you got me. So Bianca just says that everything is working fine. So if you're watching, can you just do a comment real quick? We can also display it here, which is pretty cool. And I would really like to try out this functionality of actually promoting a tweet to our awesome new setup here.
We have Kate. Kate just said she's excited for this 302 of a kind. Pull it up.
But I don't see. Oh, this is because it's private chat. Oh, I'm too stupid for this. Okay, here it is. Oh, excited for this 302 of a kind.
Look at this.
Yay. Awesome. Thank you, Kate. So you can see, pull it in here. So if you want, because before we were just reading the comments out of the Facebook comments, but now you can comment from everywhere and we can just pull it in here. So please talk to us, comment heavily. And if you don't want to do it right now, I'm sure you will during the show because we got a lot of exciting topics to cover. And the fantastic Izzi is actually, thank you so much, prepared a phenomenal presentation again. No, I like it. I just got here and just pressed go live.
And a sign. And I made a sign for my wall.
Look at this. I didn't want to mention this, just not because it's like
it's so beautiful.
Of course it is. That you've done a very fine job there. I mean, like I've lots of experience with two little kids, like making me pictures like every day, and me having to say, "Oh, that's very nice." But I also have some very nice stuff, like lying around.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Liebe Mama und Papa, schön, dass es euch gibt. Yeah. I'm full with this. I also have this. He built me this little. Papa, du bist super. You are super. He built me this thing that I can put it on my desk.
Don't break it.
Yeah. And that's actually better than your sign. Just saying.
No. I spent a whole 30 seconds coloring this in this afternoon because my background is so empty. I want to fill it with something amazing. I'm like directly at the wall. Oof. Yeah, I'm in my new apartment now. So if anyone has any ideas of what I can put in the background, aside from nice plants and Google bots.
That's
cute, right?
Yeah, very good. I was just about the vase. I was a little bit thrown out with the pet vase.
I got it from H&M Home, the kids section, because they have really nice things. Anyway, what are you drinking today, Marcus?
What am I drinking? This is just actually leftovers. So because I had actually no time, and I actually got to do it after, so I didn't really think about it. But I filled something in.
Is it wine?
This is just
okay.
Rioja, to be exact. Yeah. Cheers.
Prost. Cheers. I have Tillman's Das Helle. It's one of my favorite beers ever. Yeah.
It's a weird looking beer. I'm not judging.
It's a beautiful artwork, actually. It's really very unique. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes.
Actually, we have a comment here. Actually, Jack Metaya, the Riddler of the conference scene, was there a Google update? There actually was, and we're getting to this, so I'm gonna hide it again. And we have Leah here. Woohoo! Leah, woohoo! You too.
Yes.
And
it's Friday.
What does Wright say? We'll create something special for your background with a green screen, hopefully soon. Oh, we have a green screen too. I love it.
Yeah.
Look at this. I mean, like really, we started off like really unprofessional in a Google Hangout, and now look at us. We have like the professional studio set up, and now we're gonna have a green screen and stuff like this. This is we are so professional. This is
really cool.
We could be influenced. We could be.
I do have a nice mic.
What is this?
Yeah. It's a really nice mic. Yeah.
Oh, that looks like mine here.
Yes, fancy.
With,
okay. Yeah. The pop filter.
Yeah.
Pop.
So now we're just showing off our stuff. Let's talk about SEO. I would say. And again, if you have something to just tune in. You see, we have lots of fun putting in these comments in here, and we would like to promote your comment as well and talk about it. Maybe have like a sarcastic comment. And that's it.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Add to stream. And now this is actually the best overall, because now we can finally, because before it was like always like very hard to rearrange this, and now it's like super easy to do this. You see, this is super easy. So this is the cover. I was just thinking, why doesn't it show? Yeah. So now it's so much better to actually show the slides, because before with Be Live, it was like still a little bit little. If we wanted to be in there too, now it's super easy thanks to StreamYard. Thank you, StreamYard.
Thank you, StreamYard. Can you see me and hear me? Okay, I'm very laggy on my screen, but maybe that's
not
just
moving. Either you're doing a really great job in not moving and scaring the shit out of me.
I'm moving.
Okay, then it doesn't work.
Okay, that's as long as you can hear me, I'd say it's fine.
I can, and I guess if somebody can't hear her, but now it's getting better, so it should be fine.
Okay, cool. It's really funny seeing myself. Okay, let's start with the presentation. And because, hello to LinkedIn and YouTube, we're really excited about this, even if I'm lagging. But of course, we're still happy to be broadcasting to Facebook. And this is a huge thing for us. I guess we're reaching some new audience members. So I wanted to run through.
So now all of a sudden. Oh, now it works again. No, this is crazy because it's like super scary. For me, this is like this. And you're talking, right? So it sounds like, how does she do this? Right? It's like,
I'm just gonna maybe I hide my cam.
Oh, no, come back. That's not how it works.
Oh, now my screen is further. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, but it's frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen for me, but I can still talk, which is really strange. Yeah, one sec. I'll just close everything down.
Yeah, let's try it again. You see, we are so professional.
We're really professional.
And while you're waiting,
we're so happy about our new software.
Yeah, we're so happy. We're still trying to figure this out. So bear with us. And you could comment about your current 302 of a kind viewing experience, so we can promote the tweet, promote the comment here, and talk about this while we're trying to fix the problem. So that would be nice.
I think it's working now.
Oh, no, it's perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Yay. Okay. Slight hitch. But yes, hi everyone. So if you're new to all of this 302 of a kind nonsense and fun and awesomeness, no, it's like good nonsense.
It's good.
Like, yeah, it's like the collective term. So just get comfy, grab your favorite drink, no matter what time zone you're on. If you're in the US and Northern America, it's probably coffee, but we have already started our beer because it's 4 o'clock. And we always cover like SEO news and exciting articles that we've enjoyed over the week. And then it's all about feeling redirected from work to the weekend. Yes, write your questions in the comments and feel free to join in the conversation.
That's the wrong one.
That was me doing a test.
Prepared those banners for us, so I can't do anything wrong here besides like promoting the wrong banner. But I really like this. Also, this is really, really cool. And
it's fun.
And thanks again to Bianca for the setup. This is really cool.
Exactly. So let's spill the tea. This is where we talk about news of the week and what we found exciting. So one article I really enjoyed this week was from the fantastic Mike King. Isn't he great?
Awesome. Yeah. And right now he's writing a book. So I was like kind of surprised that he was writing a blog article, right? Because he probably has much to do with writing a book. But awesome that he finally got blogging again, because this is exactly what this industry needed again. A wake-up call. Hey, guys, get ready for mobile first indexing. If you haven't done it by now, you should, and this is why.
I was feeling incredibly jealous of Mike during this article. I mean, I'm always jealous of Mike because of how smart and awesome he is. But he got to work in this web almanac project. And during this project, he got to analyze basically the state of the web at the moment and what is going on there. And something he uncovered was that there is still a huge problem, or is still a lot of websites that aren't preparing for the mobile-only index. So for example, he was taking a look at internal links and of content length, etc. And he found that 30% of URLs served a different number of internal links for desktop devices than they did for mobile devices, which is going to cause a huge shakeup during this mobile-only shift when push comes to shove, if you are not providing that parity. If you're simply not optimized, hey LinkedIn user, if you're simply not optimized for your mobile visitors, then you could really be suffering here. So thanks, Mike, for bringing that to light. Yeah, it's such a crucial topic.
Absolutely. And so he does a flaming plaidoyer. Was is plaidoyer in English? I don't know.
It sounds French.
Plaidoyer, English. Plea. He does a flaming plea for really checking mobile versus desktop performance, mobile versus desktop parity, right? Do you really show the whole content? But not. I mean, this is like a given. And I know this is like, I mean, everybody has a story about this. I also, my favorite story about this is a customer that actually had a dedicated mobile domain, and they actually moved their office address, but they only updated it on the desktop site. And that is like that is so funny, right? Because effectively, when it moved to mobile first indexing, Google couldn't find their new address, right? It was only the old address. And that actually created problems also with their GMB entry, because there you have to have the NAP consistency, name, address, phone number consistency, which was now off. So that's kind of funny, and something you wouldn't notice because their CEO was actually, just surfing on their website like every day, everything's fine, right? But so little users actually use the mobile phone to actually check the website, right? And this will happen. I think this was like one of my favorite examples on why you should do this.
Great example, yeah.
But obviously, there are so many things that could be different on your desktop domain, which might not show up anymore with mobile first indexing. And the other big thing is actually also checking the internal link graph, basically for the desktop side as well as the mobile side, because this could also change. Like if you're stripping down links from your navigation or from your footer for the mobile version, that could actually have an impact on the internal link structure. And as we all know, internal links are much more important than external links to really tell you to Google, what's important and what should rank, and therefore it really makes sense to actually check beforehand. How it's going to look like, and how big of an impact this actually has on your site. And he goes through this in all length and really does a flaming play to really do this. And he offers a small little tool, quite a nice tool.
Pareto. Yeah. I love the name.
Yeah, Pareto. Yeah, it's actually quite good. Actually, Basti was commenting in the comments. You could also just use right. Obviously, you could, but if you don't want to use right for whatever reason, you can also use Pareto. Especially like this is only like it will only crawl the homepage, but it does for every URL you put in there. There's 4 separate crawls: desktop HTML, desktop JS, mobile HTML, mobile JS, and they basically looks. Is there something different, amount of byte size, whatever, and if there's parity among those versions. So obviously this won't help with the whole site. This is something one you can do with right, but if you want to check like for have a quick check, this is definitely a very helpful tool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a good tip. Pareto. Yeah, it's actually I thought he has the domain, but it's also on iPullRank.com/Pareto.
I forgot to add the screenshot in. I'm a fool, but yes, do check it out and check out this article where he mentions this tool. Also, I've noticed quite frequently that cutting down on content and internal links on mobile is a design choice, or considered to be a design choice, which is really unfortunate. There are definite workarounds, but it happens to a lot of us where, in improving the usability of mobile, they consider like hiding a lot of the content or like completely kicking it out. So definitely make sure that you're checking the parity. Also like with the 4 instances, I think it's really important to mention these, like, with desktop JS, Node.js, same with mobile, running that check. Very important.
By the way, we also discussed this on Clubhouse earlier today at noon, with the German SEO community. And there's actually one German SEO who also does this quite excessively. Actually, before relaunches, he will always go in and actually compare the whole internal link graph before and after. So he's very diligent in this effort.
Good.
And so we're talking about this a little bit forth and back. And actually, if you like to a little bit more about this and how you could actually do this, there's an article from, it was at Brixby.com. It was about internal link optimization with Python, this kind of stuff. I would have given you the link if I knew. I would bring it up. But I think it was Brixby.com. So if you want to know more about this, and just drop me a line and I will just send you the link real quick. But I like this, that actually there's a lot of good SEOs will do this beforehand anyway, and so I like that Mike also is mentioning this too, to actually do this kind of stuff if this could really have an impact with the new mobile first indexing.
Definitely. All right, cool. Next up, the wonderful Jan. You have to tell me. Yes, our good friend Jan.
That's actually fun. Also, it's in German, obviously. Der Google Flüsterer. Do you know what Flüsterer is?
No.
Also, what was der Pferdeflüsterer called? Pferdeflüsterer. This was a movie. Whisperer. Then he's the Google Whisperer. He doesn't look like he does a lot of whispering, but So he's the Google Whisperer, and that's what's on the cover. It's actually a story about the incredible rise of the Ippen Empire. As you might know, Jan Ippen is responsible for I think they have 80 newspaper brands, Merkur, TZ, Frankfurter Rundschau, and so forth, like in all of Germany, and not even just Germany. They're also running international outlets as well. But especially in Germany, he made a huge splash because he is now right on top on the EVW visit list. So this is sort of like a independent organization which tracks visits for media buying, that you have you don't have to rely on their Google Analytics data. This is sort of like everybody submits their visits. There has like a pixel you can integrate, and then this actually helps with media planning. And he made a huge splash. And I want to give you just the extent of this. So 5 years ago, his number one property was TZ. This is a Munich local newspaper, and it has 9.25 million visits. And now, 5 years later, it has 57 million visits. But more impressively, Merkur.de, which is also, in fact, even a Munich local medium, but it outplays all the big over-regional online media, so to speak, because it started 5 years ago with 6.78 million visits, and now it has 102 million visits. So we're talking about a 1,408% increase for Merkur.de and a 523% increase for TZ in just 5 years. So it was really like coming from all at the bottom, and now he's like all on top, and everybody's asking, how does he do it? How does he do it? What's up with it? And so they did a big series in media about how he's doing it. And obviously they're also, thinking about how does he do with Google? Why does he have so much success in Google? And so this reporter was actually reaching out to a couple of very well-known German SEOs, Jens Fauldrath, André Alper, and also me. And especially Jens and I, we actually recused ourselves because, as you know, Jan is also the whole network is also a right customer. And obviously, I like to believe that his usage of Write also has a specific a good impact on the success.
Plays a part. Yeah,
absolutely. But of course, since we also are very good friends and actually do the SE Oktoberfest event together, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Jan and I, we are basically the co-hosts of the SE Oktoberfest G50 Summit, and we have a company together which runs this event. So obviously I had to recuse myself from talking about it. Just at this end. And so they did the story of, so normally it would be like, if you don't get people, that talk to it, it's bad. But since those people recuse themselves, it becomes clear this is like sort of like the secret sauce, which it isn't, right? Because in fact, it's sort of like, it's listening to these good SEOs, and doing stuff, la la la. But no, Jan is a very good SEO, right? Jan is a very good SEO himself, and it's not just the case that he's just a good SEO, but he's also the boss, right? And this is like the perfect case of stakeholder buy-in, because normally you might have a great SEO, but you might have like an old crusty guy sitting, especially with these old online medium as well, like publisher, news publisher kind of houses. You would have like an old crusty guy who was like, oh, let's see what everybody else is doing. Let's wait for a best practice, and then we're also going to do this, so we're at least going to be number 2, right? And he has the stakeholder buy-in, he has the knowledge, he has the drive, he has the people, and he's just doing it, while other people are just still talking and waiting for best practices they could copy. He's just doing it, right? So this is the secret sauce, and this is like the only thing that I actually said to this reporter. This is like there's no smoking gun there. He's just executing. He's just doing what everybody else, is just talking about and just waiting for somebody else to, like do it. So this is the big story. So there isn't really that much of a story, but
it's great. Yeah. But was this the same thing?
Yeah, so it was like a 3-part article, and this is the case where it was actually talking about this, so why it's working so well at Google. Oh, so you have this G50 event where like the top 50 SEOs in the world are meeting once a year in Stangelwirt, and here you see us together with Robert Hansen, obviously, the formerly best hacker in the world. He's still very good, but he just doesn't have that title anymore. But so, I mean, like, and this is like the story, right? So you have all these great SEOs, and look who's like hanging out with, and obviously this is why it's working so well in Google. It's not, he's just a very good SEO. He knows his shit. He's super technical. I mean, Jan, right? I mean, he's beyond me in regards to his technical knowledge and everything. Also, he's just phenomenal. And this is it. And this is sort of like the outcome of the whole story. This is why they're so well, because it's of Jan. So I think we've talked enough about Jan. I think, but I think the shout out is in place here, because it's definitely also coming on the front cover of media for his Google success, and also doing a phenomenal job. I think.
Yes, we're big fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers to Jan.
Cheers to Jan. Prost.
Yeah, and maybe there will be even a SEO Oktoberfest G50 Summit again in. I don't think in the near future, but let's see next year. Yeah, I still don't see Oktoberfest happening, but maybe this is just me.
True, Oktoberfest, like people sharing beer by accident, big crowd. It's probably not the best for 2021. Unfortunately.
Oh man, I'm getting like. Oh, and this is the big news. I know this is only in German again, but this is.
I translated some of it. Yeah.
This is huge. This is so huge. So 7:30 this morning, I actually got a text from Professor Dr. Mario Fischer, and he was texting me this, and I'm like, holy shit, right? So CD deckt auf, also uncovers Datenleck, also a data leak with a huge SEO agency. And obviously I saw this headline, and I'm like, oh my God, which is it, right? And it's SEO-Küche. It's in Kolbermoor. This is like if you drive in the direction of Austria, this is where they're located. And they also have a couple of offices around Germany, about I think like 100 people. So and what happened was actually they had somebody found a backup MySQL backup on their unsecured server, and he pulled it down and actually put it in MySQL and actually looked what's in there, and there was everything in there, everything like this is I can't even say everything that was in there. It's like first of all, like the whole organization itself, so everybody that's working there, that had been working there, like all of their personal info, like all their times, how long they've been working, when they have been working, on which customer, blah, blah, blah.
Awful.
For each, and also they have lots of external like salespeople and everything is in there. And also every customer, everything from the first outreach, every invoice, what they did for them, everything is in there. So, also, I mean, like for every other SEO agency, obviously this is totally crazy, right? And then it even gets worse. They have all their social media accounts, because they also do social media marketing. So there are Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, Google Plus accounts. Okay, strike that. Who cares? But all these accounts, basically, I think it's over 6,000 different accounts, what they had in there. Log file data from their customers, which with everything in there also, like real users, IP addresses and everything. FTP accounts, WordPress, Joomla, access, also accounts at web hosters, like everything was in that backup file. So obviously this is a big data breach, which they notified to GDPR, GDPR data breach. This is just crazy. I mean, like, I feel so bad for them. I'm really empathetic, because it's like this like is now, I think, a huge danger for them, and for 100 people with families during this time, right? Because this is just super crazy, right? And also just the amount of work that needs to go in there right now, changing 6,000 passwords for these accounts, and stuff like this, right? Because everything was exposed, so you need to do everything, and it's crazy. It's just super sad for this agency, and
I thought it was their fault.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I mean, it is their fault, and obviously they shouldn't have done this. I mean, your life partner is very deep into security. I mean, like, obviously he's like, right, but I would reckon there are a lot of people who are still doing this way, right? And this should be their wake-up call to really, question, how am I doing this? How am I, where do I have my accounts? Do former employees still have access to these accounts and everything, right? So really question where you have this kind of stuff, because you definitely don't want this happening to you.
Or your employees, your clients. I actually remember a case a couple of years ago. I think it was Malte Landwehr who found this, but there were Trello boards existing that were public Trello boards that agencies used. They didn't know they were public, and they had clients' login data and passwords in there and access for their tools like Google Analytics and stuff. And they were using Trello, which is good, but as a public board, it's really bad.
Super. Yeah. And again, you don't know who has that data already, right? Who might have already used this data. I mean, like, if you are like a good security guy, right? You wouldn't like expose this right away. You would use this in some sneaky way and make also on so many levels. I feel so bad for this agency and everybody who is affected by this data breach, because this definitely affects a lot of people during a very very crazy time right now. So I really wish them the best. They can clean everything up. But this is wow.
Yeah. And speaking of bad luck this week,
talking about SEO agencies who have a bad day. Wow.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? And so iProspect actually, is in the process of merging. So they're in Dentsu Aegis, and I think they're going to be merged with a media agency, Viazon. I don't know, it's something with a V, Viazon, whatever. So they're about to get merged, and apparently they want to go live with this new setup on the 16th, on March 16th. So what they did, actually, this was yesterday. You would go to iProspect.com, and still, this is iProspect. This is like a huge agency, worldwide, huge agency, right? And also working as an SEO agency for huge brands, right? And this, you would go to iProspect.com and it would send a 404, right? So I mean, like, now it's a 503. As it should be, although I actually discussed it this at noon in Clubhouse. There's still the 302 redirect in place, so the language, the country targeting is still before the 503, and also there could also be
so why the 503
revisit after, especially if I know it's going to go live on the 16th. I'll revisit after the 16th to really tell Google that it doesn't have to waste resources on this.
Let's chat about why the 503, because it was a huge discussion this week, right, on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I saw this, but I just saw this on SEO Roundtable, but I didn't click on the headline because it's a solved problem. I mean, like, this is like the standard advice, and John Mew was just reaffirming this standard advice. Although I like the idea that he also said if it takes longer, you might do like a static version. You might want to serve a static version of the page, because this is the case right now. There's so many also legal stuff that you can't access, like their impressum, also their legal information. And also, if there might be a customer going to that page, right? I mean, like he's not going to do anything. So why just turn it off until the 16th? You could still have something in the meantime, that still provides value if somebody goes to the site, right? So it's weird, but a lot of people were like pounding on the SEOs. Oh, Schadenfreude, right? Like, oh, look at them, they're great SEOs, but that's not as great SEOs. I can imagine the SEOs were just as pissed, and this is like a top-down like decision. We're gonna do this, right? And nobody just listened to the SEOs, and they're like embarrassed that something like that probably happen. So I really feel bad for them, because I think no respectable SEO would have
no
just put it on 4.4. That's cool, we are a prospect. No, nobody would have said that. So this was probably like decided up on top, and the SEO maybe just, I don't know, this may be something for SEOs. Maybe sometimes we have to be louder when stuff like this is happening, to really like intervene and say, hey, this also is bad for our reputation, because we're an SEO agencies and we come on, right? So, but again, we don't know the inside story, but I definitely feel bad for the. There's some great SEOs there, and I think they feel just as bad about this and embarrassed. So yeah,
feeling sorry for you guys. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that was today. I just saw this and I found it kind of funny. So apparently Martin Splitti said that if your pages have core vital field data, it might have a teeny tiny ranking advantage. So in order to qualify for achieving field data, you need to have enough sessions and visits to your page. So it's not happening for anyone, basically. But yeah, just saw this today and thought maybe it's interesting to mention. But then again, like Lily Ray, who we love, like just mentioned, or like was making fun of it. Like it might have a small, teeny, tiny ranking advantage, and everyone's going crazy about it. So I don't want to go crazy about it.
Yeah, I was also, if I hear something like this, might have a tiny, teeny, whatever. I mean, like obviously, like, oh, your site is faster. People like your site faster. Eventually it could also have like an effect on your ranking, obviously, right? So, but again, I really don't like when people also always mix the core web vitals discussion into the SEO discussion, because this is not an SEO topic, right? This is about you not wanting to piss off your users, you wanting to serve your users a great fast loading experience, right? And this is just it. This is good for your users. And I really don't like a lot of the discussion going on. Also, He-Man Barry had the poll of, oh, Google said it's not likely not going to have a big impact if you optimize for the core web vitals, as it won't have a big impact like in the beginning. But, and are you still going to do it? Are you still going to do it? I mean, like, what? Why? Right? This is so much, again, Google focused, Google centric. But again, this is not about SEO, not at all. This is just and yeah, there's so many great cases already. I think you also included the Yahoo Japan case. Yeah. And I think there's so many great cases where you can see where people that get their shit together, that actually optimize for the core web vitals, actually, were able to have some amazing uplifts in regards to visits, conversion rates, right? So this is it. You can make more out of what you have right now. Who wouldn't want to do it, right? So I don't care about the carrot that Google's like dangling in front of our faces. Oh, you might rank better, right? I don't care. I just want to serve our users well. And we doubled down on core web vitals on our side as well. And I can't wait to show what we've been cooking up, especially Dan.
We love UX. Yeah, we're caring more about the user's experience on the website. So that's why we care a lot about it. And personally, like as an SEO, I see that core web vitals is something that the SEO can push along within the company, because it's like a really great overlap of like technical belongings. It's the website, it's sometimes content focused. It's really like an overlap of all these different topics that the SEO needs to take care of. It's not something that the SEO can fix, but it's something that they can really advocate for in the organization. So that's why I think it's a really good thing for the SEO to take care of.
It's great that we finally get it officially from Google, and now a little bit taking it away again, but they give it to us, like, but you can give this to your boss who is always against doing that kind of stuff, and now you can say, yes, Google wants it. It might have a ranking advantage, right? Even if you don't think that's relevant, but your boss might think, oh, that sounds good, right? Now we're going to do it, right? So I think this is super valuable for Google to do these kind of statements, for us to actually get stakeholder buy-in to get that shit done. So now with this, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just laughing at this comment from Axel because the right interface is incredibly fast.
Absolutely.
Unless you have a lot of website data, like a heck load, and you're making a calculation with like maximum time frame, and then maybe it takes a few seconds. So Axel, you just have too much website traffic, apparently. Too much clicks, too much data. Calm down with the SEO.
Calm down. Come on, you need less traffic for us to go. No,
we can't handle it. Well, we can't.
We can't handle Alex. Nobody can handle him. I mean, excellent. Did I just say Alex? Yeah, it's because we have 10% in our company are called Alex. Yeah, that's it.
It's fun.
Oh, and now, let me put Axel's comment in there as well. Again, wait. Let me do this really quick. Was there a Google update? Yes, there was. Apparently, a large unconfirmed Google local search algorithm update. This is actually something I didn't click on it at first, because first it's a local update. I'm an organic SEO, I mean, like, obviously I see the beauty of local SEO if you're a local business, and if you have like a local box in the SERPs you're targeting. But I'm more like an organic SEO kind of guy, right? So, and there, whatever. And then it's also sometimes that it's only in the US and we might not see something. But there was actually an Austrian SEO, Alexander Ausermeier, who was saying, oh yeah, he saw that shakeup as well, actually for SEO Salzburg. Where he had a huge shakeup. So this is also affecting like German SERPs, or at least Austrian SERPs. And we actually asked in the clubhouse if somebody's seen something similar, but nobody did. But Hans Kronenberg, the SEO lead for Chefkoch, he actually had a very interesting thought about this, because he said, could this be sort of like a Erdbeben is tremor, right? Erdbeben.
Yeah. Tremor.
And a Vorbeben, also before a earthquake, you have like a pre-tremor.
Yeah, the tremor would probably be there before the earthquake. Like tremor is kind of like a small thing.
Oh, okay. Again, what learned? Okay. Quake. Also here in German, there's Vorbeben is quake. Okay. It's a tremor, a quake. I hope you see what we're getting at, right? So could this be a quake, tremor, whatever, like with like Google mobile first indexing looming in the background? Sort of like there are the pages that actually have that or cause that fluctuation are actually maybe not mobile optimized. I mean, like, there are a lot of local businesses. There are a lot of small websites, could have been built with Wix, whatever, on desktop version kind of thing. Could this be something that affects like pages with not a proper mobile setup that could cause this? So this was Hans' thought. So I have no idea, because I know of 2 little cases where that were actually affected by this. But obviously, the more cases we see, maybe. But I like the
interesting theory.
Yeah, so it was a very interesting thought. Yeah.
I always found it fascinating. So I used to do a lot of local SEO when I worked at Six, because of how important it was for our local stations. And we used to try and do a lot of like ranking studies ourselves. And we found out that a lot of the times it was like a lot of listings would rank well even when they didn't have a website. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing, like, that's kind of what Google wants to empower sometimes. Like with Google My Business, they want to help bring websites to search, even businesses to search when they don't have the time or resources available to create like an own domain for it. So it definitely helps, like, but it is still possible to perform well in local without that website. So interesting thought, but let's see.
Yeah, and I think you have a very, very good point here, because this is, I think, for Google and for a lot of businesses, it should be enough, right? That you actually don't have to have your own website. You would just have that profile. And if you're a restaurant and stuff like this, you could still have the menu and everything on there. You might not even need it, right? Also, yeah.
I came across recently 2 examples of websites where Lieferando had created the website for the restaurant, by the way. We spoke about this in the last episode. So a huge food delivery platform in Germany created websites for all those restaurants that don't have one, just to outrank them in search and to get the commission fee from that delivery. And I was kind of shocked when I found them, and I just called them up myself. Well, my German-speaking boyfriend did.
Yeah, I always do this too. I never call Lieferando. I will always call the restaurant himself, because I want to support the restaurant and not these guys. By the way, the interesting thing about this, we talked about this. This was actually, they've done this 10 years ago. So this is super old, but it just got just discovered, right? Because actually one of the founders was actually talking about this on LinkedIn. I was just trying to find that post, I didn't find it, but he was saying that we did this 10 years ago. And this was huge, really successful for them. I think it was like 10%. He really said it in there. I really got to find it. It's like 10% of all bookings were via these websites. They built. Yeah, it's still shady. I mean, like, even if it's 10 years ago, shady, right? It was shady 10 years ago, was shady now, right? Also,
I find it clever, but I find it also very shady.
Clever, but
it's clever, yeah. Shady. Interesting study on Microsoft Bing from Brian Dean, aka Backlinko.
He's such a I mean, like, really, he has such a good nose for, I can build a lot of traffic, which, like providing these stats kind of thing. That's a very backlink article.
Yeah, exactly. So just pulling together some key statistics. So the market share of Bing is quite low, but they're still the 2nd largest search engine worldwide. And they have a really good coverage. We speak a lot about Bing on this show, actually. We recently had Fabrice Canel of the search indexing and crawling team. That was such a fascinating chat. He's great.
Also, a couple of the stats that I would like to point out. Also, we see this 1 billion users a month. I mean, which is impressive. And again, this is the 2nd biggest search engine. You see 2.71 international market share, and this is the 2nd biggest with 2.71 international market share. That says a lot about Google, right? Just right there. But also the 1 billion visits, which sounds like a lot, but this actually has not changed a lot throughout the last years. So it has stayed almost steady at this 1 billion visits each month. And regarding the market, the worldwide market share, I mean, a lot of it comes also from being in China, which Google isn't. Project Dragonfly, which they did it twice. They reverted again. Bing is playing by the rules, by their rules, and is present there. You have obviously Japan, where Yahoo is really big, supplying the search data for Yahoo. Obviously, gets your share there. So it has a couple of sort of like local Trutzburgen, local heroes, so to speak, and in the US, the market share is still at 6.22, right? Also at about 6%. And I think still for the US market, that is a sizable share because, again, with so much more volume, right? 6% is actually something where it really makes sense to also at least look with one eye to Bing. And also, of course, always use Bing Search Console. Also the Bing Webmaster was phenomenal. You get so much good data in there, especially what I love. I've said this before. In Google, you just get the average position now. Like 10 years ago, you were still getting like we serve you on position 2 500 times, position 3 300 times, position 4 200 times, and the respective CTRs for each of these positions. And you still get that in Bing, right? So you don't get this in Google anymore. You get more data, but not as deep. With Bing, you still get that data, and I love this data. And thanks so much. And they also there's this even competitive linking stuff. So it's a true treasure trove for a webmaster. So
Cool
do it, right? And especially if you're in the US, you should always also look at Bing. And the most interesting fact, I think, is something that you also had in the previous slide, that they have a 37% market share for US console users, which is obviously due to the Xbox. So you have the search engine on the Xbox, and people are searching, right? So this is also, where like a huge part of the share comes from. And the most funny thing in this article was actually the most searched terms. So did you look at it? What's the most searched term?
I didn't look at it.
What do you think? What's the most searched term on Bing?
Google.
Number 3. What's the most searched?
Corona?
No. The second one is YouTube, and the first is Facebook. And 11 is Facebook login. Facebook login. We just had this in the Clubhouse because we were saying, if you want to, optimize for the Sistrix Sichtbarkeitsindex, for example, the visibility index in Sistrix, it makes sense to optimize for keywords like Facebook login, LinkedIn login, right? Because you have a huge Sistrix visibility, but obviously no clicks probably, and you shouldn't, because you don't want to like mislead people. But it's a great keyword for visibility index optimization. And what I found interesting is, like, on one it was Facebook, and then you have Google, YouTube, Gmail, right? So in the top 4 you have 3 Google properties. That must suck, right? And then on I think it was on 5, on 7 they Bing. So you have the 7th or 5th or 7th favorite search term is Bing, right? So people go to Bing to search for Bing, and then they search for Bing, or then they search for Google, right? Because I can't find Bing, so I'm just searching for Google now, right? So it's kind of weird. So this is like, I really got a chuckle out of these most common search terms in Bing. I love their article from Backlink.
It's a really nice study. It just reminded me recently, or last week, I think, our Alex Breitenbach showed us a SERP feature from Bing, and it reminded me.
FAQ schema, yes.
It's not. So this is something different. This is like a how-to snippet that Bing constructs themselves, and I give a lot of talk about SERP features. And people are always complaining to me like, oh, Google is so aggressive with the SERP features they create based on other people's data that they scrape and extract from the page. And this is, I want to show you like a how-to result that is not built using structured data. So you can swipe through all these points that Bing is extracting from the page, and when you check it, there is no structured data.
Oh my God.
It's really fascinating.
Dude, he was sending me this, and I was like, yeah, that's the FAQ schema. Look at this. Bing is faster than Google. So this was the page I'm doing a ranking experiment, and I also included FAQ schema. Google actually validated in the GC, but it didn't show up in the SERPs yet. But in Bing, it actually showed up. So he was like sending it over. And I'm like, Breitenbach, why are you disturbing my peace?
No,
right? FAQ schema, what are you telling me? And now I'm like blown out of the water. What the hell? I was like, really, this is...
It's something different.
Yeah. I didn't even realize this.
Don't even say that Google is aggressive with the feature snippets, with their entity results, their knowledge graph, when a search engine is doing something like this and pulling almost all of the content from the page. When you can swipe through all of them. So this query was for how to build an app. In this case, you will need to visit the page if you want to build an app and do even more investigation. But if it's something where I have a really simple question, you can just flick through the entire page's content. So yeah, really interesting to mention. Another great study is from the wonderful Morty Oberstein. He has been experimenting, because he's such a nerd, but we like that. He's been experimenting with Google Discover, and he documented all of this. This also got me thinking I need to do more experiments myself. I thought that was really nice. I haven't read the full extent of this study yet, but I just pulled out some really interesting findings. Did it work in the end?
Mm-hmm. To an extent, I think it is. I love this article. It is super interesting because if you go back real quick, so what he did, he was actually showing different behavior on different things. So on YouTube search and the video click on desktop, he was talking about he was looking for suing like in the suing topic, YouTube search and video click on mobile about lawn care, desktop search, no click about phishing terms, right? So super smart. And then actually look, what's going up in my Discover feed. And I mean, there's so much, so much information in there. But one example is also, which I would have necessarily thought that, for example, mobile had like a very little impact on this kind of stuff. And the most biggest thing is actually how you interact with the Discover feed, obviously. But I love this also, like the whole setup doing this kind of stuff. And then kids watching different shows, which actually didn't show up at all because Google was able to decide, okay, this is totally different from your other behavior. So this might not be you. This might be another persona. So maybe he was just also throwing Google off with these lawn care, suing, that kind of topics, kind of stuff. But I love the setup and just, it's so easy, to do this kind of stuff, right? And so as you just said, right, it's so great to just do it and share this with the whole SEO community. And actually, Valentin Pletzer, Vorticon Commander on Twitter, he's also, I think, Mr. Discover, absolutely. And he was also, so we were sharing this in our Clubhouse chat, I think yesterday, and Valentin also said he did something similar, also with a completely new account, like totally new, naked, new phone, just new account set up, that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm not a Discover user. I've not used it once yet because I'm not what you said, I'm not that langweilig. Langweilig is yeah, I'm not that bored that I need Google to tell me what else I should be reading. I mean, I know exactly what I'm reading, and for example, I read Spiegel Online like every day, like most of it, right? And this is it. I have my stuff, and I know, for example, also when I read about SEO stuff, where I find it, right? I don't need Discover to discover that kind of stuff. I'm just not that bored to
I don't use it either.
So, but still, like this whole setup and also Valentin talking about it, like really got me. Oh, I would really like to just try it out, to really see how it works. So this is really exciting. Thank you, Morty. Fantastic that you did this and also shared this with the broader SEO community.
I'm gonna dig into it later. Thanks for telling me. Yes, from the great. Hey, Alex.
My comment that I like whatever, don't disturb my piece because of the FAQ page schema. Now it's something completely different. Right?
Yes. From the great Christina Azarenko. She's done a really nice piece. It was inspired by the Google conference. What was it called again?
Search Central Live.
That one. Yes. Thank you, Marcus. Search Central Live. She did a chat with Martin Splitt, a really nice case study of lazy loading. So she did the write-up. Thanks a lot, Christina.
Yeah. Again, also, I think a fantastic piece. It was already very great when she did it at the Central Live event, but also thanks for also doing the write-up. I love these kind of case studies that you can actually, you can take this and can, send people over there and say, hey, look at this. This is how it's done. This is what you should be looking at and that kind of stuff. So fantastic work from her. And also something that which helps us in our daily work, that we can actually point people to something.
Yes.
Because a lot of people keep asking about, especially Core Web Vital, like how do I do it exactly? We love these kind of case studies.
I was amazed when doing some investigations of how many e-commerce sites don't use lazy loading or don't use it in the best manner. And the amount of savings you can get from just applying this. You can also use it natively these days with Chrome. So that's something that Christine also explored. It's phenomenal. It's something that could be a real quick win for your website, especially e-commerce category pages. Chock block full of images, content, and it's all being loaded, or like 96 results on the first render being injected there. It's just like, oh, it's madness. Why aren't you employing lazy loading? It's 2020.
Absolutely. As totally supporting what you're saying right there.
Yeah.
It should be doing this. It's natively right now. It's so easy to implement. So yeah, everybody should be doing this. I mean, I'm so lazy. I'm even loading my images lazily. So for me, it's not a problem.
Be lazy. Yeah.
Be lazy.
Be lazy. Speaking of Core Web Vitals, so this was another great case study from WebDev. So the Google web developers and Google Chrome, whatever. I really love their case studies. It's a great way that they can empower developers and SEOs with like real findings and real life stories of how this works and what the impact can be. So this example was from Yahoo Japan. There are news pages and how they fixed issues with cumulative layout shift.
Yeah, and again, this is awesome for us, because this is not about SEO, right? I mean, like just fixing cumulative layout shift and a 15% increase in page impressions, right? And especially with Yahoo Japan, this is probably a couple million. So it's really paid off. And this is again something great for us when people are really thinking about, oh, is it really worth it? It is here, right? And this is it. We had this other case study about the increase in conversion rates and everything. You can do more out of what you already have by optimizing this. So everybody should be doing this.
Definitely. Yeah, so just as a quick example of what they did. So this was previously before the optimizations. You have the page when you're interacting, and then bam, this image comes down, it shifts everything there. It's like a classic textbook example of CLS. And what they implemented was one of the image best practices of using aspect ratio boxes. So you can reserve space on the page. It's like, okay, browser, like we know that this image is coming. It's not there right now, but it's coming very soon. Reserve the space. And then there are no annoying shifts occurring when the image does load. So yeah, had a huge impact. They cleaned up all the issues. As you mentioned, Marcus, I forgot to take a screenshot of the improvements, but it was 15% impressions. Can't remember the clicks if they provided that, but yeah, awesome stuff.
Awesome. I like the Japanese layout too. It's like I can't read a thing. It's like on right to Korean, because our software is actually localized in Korean, right? I did it once to show it, and then I had some serious troubles getting back because it was a really big deal. It was like a public demo, and I'm like, oh my god, I suck so bad. I really wanted to show off, and then I couldn't even find the button anymore because it's now in Korean. Korean is hard.
Korean is an incredibly beautiful looking and sounding language, I find. It's very nice.
Like German. German is such the language of love. The language of love.
What's romantic in German? Romantisch. Deutsch ist echt, ist wirklich romantisch. Wow. Why do I sound Irish?
Really? That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. No, it's such a romantic language. I mean, like, if I tell my wife that I love her, Rebecca, ich liebe dich. Yeah, it's so romantic.
I like the way you say Rebecca as well.
Yeah, because I never say Rebecca. I really just did I mean, there's not like. I mean,
okay. You have to say the full name.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's like, Rebecca Ariane. I just say Rebecca Ariane. If I'm mad, which never happens. I think it happened like in the past 10 years, like twice or something like this. So I said Rebecca Ariane instead of. I don't know if she's there. Becky.
She will be like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, thank God. She will be like, "What are you talking about, man?" So yeah, I never call her Rebecca. It's just yeah.
Her middle name is Ariane.
Der Henning, nice German. Ariane, like the Ariane Rakete. Also, right? The rocket.
The rocket, yeah.
Ariane.
Ja. Thank you, Henning. Dankeschön. Ja. Das freut mich.
Das freut mich. Awesome.
Das freut mich. Ja, jawohl. Genau. SMX Munich. Speaking of German, but even though it's in German and in English, that's happening next week. Sadly, not in person.
Yeah, it's so crazy, right? You remember last year? This is like right after the first lockdown. There was really the hybrid event where we like Barry posted the picture of us at the Peak Ace booth with masks and everything, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at this! Conference is going back to normal." Yeah. 1 year later, yeah, we're doing the virtual thing again, and let's see about next year. Yeah, but still, at least it is happening, and I love the lineup. I love it. That is like this is like a highlight conference. Like coming again. There was lots of like stuff happening, but this is again something where just flipping through the agenda, I'm going to look at a lot of stuff. I'm really looking forward to Anthony. Really like. As I can't wait to see this. Rand is there. Will is there. So many great sessions. Yeah, definitely really looking forward to this.
I put together some of my favorite looking talks. Much better than your Catalan. Oh, thank you.
I don't know about his Catalan.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to, as always, the talks. Emily from Search Pilot, from Mary Haynes, who always keeps us up to date on EAT and quality raters guidelines. That's something that she owns, and I love it. I'm very excited to catch up on that. And Emily at Search Pilot, as they're doing all these amazing SEA/B tests with some huge brands and companies, and she is also running up a lot of those articles that we chat about on Three of a Kind. So seeing what works, what doesn't, really excited for that. Of course, looking forward to Will, who's talking about data, being data-driven. That's a huge topic at the moment, so I want to level up my skills there. Splitty, who's doing Core Web Vitals and web stories. I didn't even see that before. Yeah, web stories could be really interesting for some brands. Yeah, I'm really unsure about web stories, but my co-speaker, Samuel Schmidt, I will talk about our talks next. Oh no, I forgot to put our talks in. Never mind. He did a really good piece about AMP stories for his blog. And for our talk, our session, I'm covering blog content with a little case study on the Right magazine and wiki, which I still haven't finished yet. But it's all about like what works, you know, whether I need to roll out a company blog. It's something I've never spoken about before. It's something completely different to me. But it's really cool, I think. It's something that could be very important for a lot of businesses. And you are chatting about...
pattern analysis in data.
Yes,
Research console data. I do this together with Kevin Indig. I just finished the presentation yesterday, so I'm done finally. I have 137 slides for my 20 minutes, so that's going to be a lot of fun because I have no fluff, no theory, no history, whatever, just data. I'm just going to show screenshots of data, juicy case studies of. There's so much great stuff there. As I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, I like with 20 minutes, I really had to. I mean, you saw my first collection of like case studies I had, and I really got to break it down to the best ones. And I think I found some great stuff, and I can't wait to share this with people, and especially doing this with Kevin, which I love. Right? I mean, like seriously, you know, when he was on the show, and he reminded me that in 2009, when he was a student, he actually reached out to me saying, "Hey, how can a small student start a career in SEO?" And now he's like, yeah, an SEO superstar, and like a sought-after SEO in Silicon Valley, made in Germany. So I'm really proud, you know, to be doing this together with him. And I can't wait. I'm also doing a workshop again on Tuesday, which is always fun, really cool. But again, it's still, I mean, like I like the setup, but still, it's not in person. For example, Emily Potter, right? This is someone I would really like to meet personally, right? I've read so much stuff from her. Again, as you said, we covered so many of the stories, or so many of the tests they did with Search Pilot. She does an incredible job, and this is somebody I really would like to finally meet in person, right? And yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit sad, but again, there are over 1,000 people again next week. Everybody virtually coming together. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to SMX.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it as well. I think it's difficult to be a virtual speaker, I must admit. Like, I think maybe the impression is that it's much easier than like a physical talk. But for me, it's just there's not always that like validation, or you don't get the input from the audience of whether you're doing a good job or not.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. So you like put all your heart into this talk, and then afterwards it's like, oh, I'm just sat alone in my office.
Yeah, that's it, right? I mean, like, and also like
do well
practicing it, right? So I've practiced it like 5-6 times now, right? And it's like it's the exact same thing, right? I'm sitting here and like,
yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. And that's exactly, and it has a little bit of this, right? Also that you're living off the audience, right? Like really getting the feedback, interacting with the audience. This is when it really when it becomes fun, and yeah, no, it's just here's the information. Bam.
But I do think, it's tough, but I do think conferences like SMX Munich are doing all they can now to make it as like engaging as possible. Like there's networking sessions. You can also, I think, come up to the stage and ask your question, yourself virtually rather than just typing if you wanted to. There's so much that they're considering. So I'm really looking forward to next week. And I need to, and I never do this, Marcus, I'm really bad at this. I need to like block some time off to like take part in the other talks. Because you know what, like when it's a virtual conference, I'll be like working at the same time and then I'm just not paying attention.
Yeah.
And that's not great. I need to like focus on it.
Yeah, I have the same thing. But what happens? I actually put it right here on the big screen, so to speak. So, and then it actually helps that you're not sitting in front of the computer because email coming in. Oh yeah, just gonna do this real quick, and then you're totally lost. You can't catch up with what this guy was talking about. La la la. It's always the same. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it on video later. But I never do, right? So yeah, I also a couple of the things I definitely want to see. So I'm definitely blocking time for this to see this. I think they're robbing the chocolate treasure here.
Well, we're pretty much done for today.
Oh, that's it?
So
awesome.
That's it. Yeah, but we're over time. So this always happens when we have a lot to chat about.
As always.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see how it went with the different streaming platforms. Also with the different platforms we streamed this feed too. Thanks everybody for commenting, for interacting with us, because this is also what we drive off. Because if not, we're just talking to each other, which is also nice because we also don't catch up like this about news that often, obviously. So it's also nice to do this. But obviously, it's much nicer that if you all have value. If you find value in this and interacting with us, maybe we got to find some ways, maybe like from sort of like a game that we can like engage people more, kind of stuff. Let's see. I have an idea. But cool. But I think we should definitely do it like this. I definitely like StreamYard a lot more than BeLive. This is so much better. And I like it that we are in parallel on so many different platforms. I hope you like it too. Next week, next Friday, obviously we're also going to have our Clubhouse sessions next week. Actually, I'm definitely looking forward to the one on Wednesday and Thursday, because this is going to be in the lunch break at SMX Munich. So actually in the lunch break at SMX Munich, we're going to talk about what has happened at SMX Munich, about who said what in the keynote, what's the latest chatter, whatever. This is what we're going to talk about in these lunch clubhouses. But also on Friday we're going to recap SMX. So as you just heard, Izzy and I, we really want to take some time aside, really watch some stuff. So we definitely want to give you an update on what we've seen, what was exciting, what you should know, what you have missed. No party, still gonna do party myself, maybe.
Yeah, of course.
And that's so sad. Yeah, and so you should definitely tune in next Friday, and just be live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever. We are there for you. We are right by your side. And now I guess it's time to temporarily redirect you from work to
the weekend.
That's I'm really looking forward to it. So Prost.
Yes.
Izzi.
Happy weekend,
so
everyone.
Thanks for doing the slides again and everything.
Prost.
Yeah, exciting week. Can't wait for SMX Munich. See you at SMX Munich. If you see us, give us a shout out, talk to us. We would definitely like to meet you virtually. And don't show up at my door. Just so you never know. So that's it. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
End broadcast. That's what she said.